Hey everybody, Dr. Nelson here. This is going to be a brief lesson on how to find the slope of a line. So what we're going to do is the first page of your notes, I want you to follow along with me, please. So take notes on this. And then the next page, you'll be able to try some problems on your own. And then finally, you can see how you did. All right? So slope, what exactly is it? All right, slope is a ratio or a fraction, right? Comparing the rise to the run. Now, when I say the word rise, what we're talking about is the change in the y values between 2 points. So for this example, we're going to talk about this point here and also this point right here. All right? So the rise is going to be the change in the y value. So what you do is from this point, we're going to figure out how high we're going from this point to this point. So we're going to go up 1 and 2. So our rise is going to be 2. Okay, that's how much it's going up from this point to this point. Okay, now the run is the change in the x values. Now the x values, we're talking about the x-axis values. Okay, so the run value from this point to this point is we're going over 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so the slope of this graph is going to be 2 over 4, which can reduce down to 1/2. Now here's kind of the cool thing about this. Okay, any ratio of 1/2, right, will be on this graph. Okay, for example, if I go from this point right here and I go up 1 over 2, notice I'm on the graph. But if I went up 10 and over 20, which is also 1/2, guess what? It's going to be on this line. Okay, if I went over, say, 100, if I went up 100 and over 200 from any point on this graph, okay, because that equals 1/2, that point is going to be on this graph. All right, so let's try a couple of these here. Let's take a look at the first one. All right, so here we have a linear graph. Okay, so let's figure out what the rise is. So from here, we're going to go up, looks like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so from this point to this point, there's a rise of 4. So the rise is going to be 4. And then the run, I'm going to use a different color. The run is going to be 1, 2, and 3. All right, so the slope of this graph is 4/3. Now this one, notice the line is going in a different direction. All right, these are going upward. This one's going downward. Okay, remember, you always read a graph from left to right. Okay, so when we read this graph, the graph is increasing. Okay, this one's increasing. But this one, as we read the graph left to right, it's decreasing. Okay, so for this one, we're going to have a rise of 1, 2, 3, 4. But because we're going down, it's now going to be a -4. All right, so remember, when you go down, it's going to have a negative value. And then the run, which I'll use a different color again, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the slope of this graph is -4/5. All right, so try the problems on the next page. So you can pause the video to do that, and then hit play, and you can see how you did. All right, good luck. Hey everybody, welcome back. All right, let's see how you did with these practice problems. Okay, so again, just a reminder, the slope is the ratio of the rise over the run. All right, so remember, the rise is the change in the y value, and the run is the change in the x values. All right, so for this first one, I'm going to draw the fraction bars here for actually all three. All right, so here we go. So the first one, we're going to have a rise. We're going downward. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so the rise is going to be 5, but because we went down, it's going to be -5. All right, and then the run is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So the slope of this graph is -5/4. All right, the second one. Notice the graph is going upward. All right, so it should be a positive slope. So our rise is going to be 1, and our run is going to be 1 and 2. So the slope of this graph is 1/2. And last but not least, now notice this one, we don't have points. The points aren't given. So what we have to do is we have to figure out 2 points that are pretty easy to read. So I'm going to put a point there, then also a point right here. All right. So the rise from this point to this point is going to be 1 and 2. So we're going to go up 1 and 2. So it's going to be 2. And then the run is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the slope of this graph is going to be 2/4, which also reduces down to 1/2. And there it is. All right, how'd you do?